That's working. Cool. Hello, everybody. Thanks very much for coming along. My name is Jay. I'm one of the expert OET teachers here at E2 Language, which, by the way, is now a premium preparation provider. So the OET have a registration process, an auditing process whereby they check organizations who do OET preparation, and they give them an accreditation if that organization meets their standards. So far in the world, there are only 6 organizations with this PPP accreditation. E2 Language is one of them. What it means is, well, let's just say that creating OET preparation material is very difficult. It's very difficult to make good quality, high quality material that resembles the real test. And you really need to practice with good quality material, because if you don't, you'll start to practice on something that will lead you in the wrong direction. So the OET figured this out and they thought, okay, we'll set up a program where schools can apply and we'll check their materials. So E2 Language is one of those. So you can trust us for good materials. Anyway, enough spruiking of E2 Language. In this live class, we're going to look at OET writing, and we're going to look at, well, we're going to look at letter format, how to format your letter. This might be a bit too simple for some people, but it's worth knowing anyway. And we're going to look at we're going to dive in quite deeply. So even if you think this may be too simple for you, you'll still probably learn something along the way about structure, how to structure your writing, because the format allows you to see how it's structured, okay? And there's not a specific format you must follow. There are different ways you can format your letter on test day, but I'm going to show you one that is, well, what I did was I deconstructed the OET sample letter, and so you know it's a good format to follow, okay? So let's get started and have a look at OET writing. First of all, let's talk about the scoring, because your letter format does actually come under the criteria. So if you remember correctly, you are graded. Your grade depends on 5 things. You're graded on overall task fulfillment, whether you write your letter according to the needs of the reader. You're graded on appropriateness of language, whether you use the right formality and whether you structure your letter accordingly. You're graded on comprehension of stimulus, whether you have understood the case notes and written the letter according to the task. You're graded on linguistic features, including grammar and cohesion, or in other words, how good your grammar and vocabulary are. And finally, you're graded on presentation features. And presentation features, I'm sorry for that square, I don't know what that is. Presentation features includes the format of your letter. That is one of the specific criteria that you're graded on, okay? So it's important to get right. Oh no, what's going on? I've been logged out. Cancel. What's going on? Don't log me out. I want to stay in here. Okay, I think we're all good. Sorry about that. Cool. So today's class, we're going to do 2 things. One, I'm going to deconstruct proper letter format and show you how to do it. And then 2, I'm going to give you the opportunity to practice where you will structure a letter properly. Okay? So proper letter format. This is the format that you want to use on test day, okay? In fact, there are 14 parts to it. But once you've practiced this a couple of times, you'll just memorize it. It's pretty straightforward. Let's look at these one by one in detail, okay? So here it is. We're going to look at the recipient name and title, the profession, the clinic address, the date of the test, etc. Number 1, let's look at the recipient name and title, because you are also graded on your ability to use correct titles, right? If you get the title wrong, whether it's a doctor or a Mrs. or a Ms., etc., you will be graded down. So this is number 1. The example I have is Dr. James Marshall. That's the recipient name and title. Where does that come from? That comes from the writing task, which is located at the bottom of the case notes. You take the name of the recipient of the letter directly from this task. The writing task will contain the name of the person you are writing to. It's critical that you get a few things right here. It's critical that you get their title correct. It's critical that you spell their name correctly. And it's critical that you use capital letters for their name and the first letter of the title, okay? Number 2, the recipient's profession or position. So that's located here. This is the second part of the letter format. In this case, it's oncologist. Where do we get that information from? Well, again, you will get the recipient's profession from the writing task. It will say, write a letter to Dr. James Marshall, oncologist, and that's where you put that. Now, sometimes it won't give the profession of the person. It would just say, write a letter to, no, it usually will actually, because it'll always say physiotherapist or, you know, manager of retirement home or something like that. So you might have to change it a little bit for manager, etc. That's the second part. Third part, this is the third part of the letter format, clinic or hospital name. If you look at number 3, it says Parkville Hospital. Where do we get that information from? You guessed it, we get that from the writing task, Parkville Hospital. Whoops, number 4, the clinic or hospital address. Again, have a look at number 4, 77 Park Street, Parkville. Where do we get that from? We get that again from the writing task. Make sure, whoopsie, make sure that you spell it correctly. Make sure that you use correct capital letters, and make sure that you separate the street name from the suburb with a comma, okay? Number 5, today's date. This one seems to trick a lot of people because one of the things that happens with the practice material you get is that it might be like 5 years old. And so you get this letter and it says, you know, 22nd of January, 2014. And you think, okay, what date do I put on my letter? The date you put on the letter will be the date of your exam, the day that you sit your exam. Okay, so today's date. Today's date might be in the future. So let's look at this more closely. Look at number 5, today's date. You simply just write the date of the test. So the date of your exam, for instance, today is the 21st of December 2017. So you simply write that. And you use it, just write it in this format here with the slashes and the numbers. You don't need to spell out the month or anything like that. Number 6, the patient name and the age of the patient. This is the 6th thing you need to write down for the letter format. If you have a look here, it says Dylan Bob, aged 65. Dylan Bob, age 65. Stands for regarding, by the way, regarding, full colon, first name, family name, comma, aged, and the age of the patient. We get that from the top of the case notes. Right at the top of the case notes, it will say notes. Mr. Dylan Bob is a 65-year-old patient on the ward of a hospital in which you are charge nurse. So we then take this, okay, and we write full colon, and we write the full name here, Mr. Dylan Bob. We copy it exactly. Excuse me, my handwriting's terrible. Mr. Dylan Bob, aged, how old is he? He's 65. There's different ways to write this. You can write 65 years old, but this is probably an easier way to do it, and it's fine, okay? There you go, that's done. Number 7, the salutation. Okay, salutation, if you look down at number 7, it says, Dear Dr. Marshall. Dear Dr. Marshall, okay? So what is that? Well, you should always use the salutation dear because we're writing a formal letter. You should never write hi or hello or whatever. And then you just put the title and the family name. Now, if there is no title given, for example, let's just say you're writing to a nurse or the manager of the nursing home, we will exclude the title and just write Dear Mr. or Ms. and then the family name of the recipient. Okay. 8, 9, 10, and 11, that's where you write your paragraphs. So your introductory paragraph where you outline the main medical issues and what you want the recipient of the letter to do. Paragraph 1, 2, and 3 is where you start to think about the structure of your case notes according to the main issues, the secondary issues, and the tertiary issues, including the management plan, for example. This is really the crux of your letter. This part, the formatting part, the address, the recipient, the salutation, all of this can be memorized. And that's really easy. You should be able to go in on test day and just quickly do up the letter format. But the real trick, the real key to this is this part of the letter here, okay? This is really what you're graded on. This is 99% of your mark is on this part here. Maybe not 99, maybe less than that, but this is what it's all about. If you haven't seen E2 Language's other videos on interpreting case notes, selecting case notes, organizing case notes, and transforming case notes, you should watch those videos. They're up on YouTube. And if you want extra practice, you should go to the website where you can sign up for free to also watch those videos amongst others and to get some practice material as well. If you feel like you need extra help, you should upgrade for one-on-one tutorials, access to the full practice materials, etc. Okay? Plus writing and speaking feedback. Sorry, writing feedback. Cool. So where are we up to? That's 8, 9, 10, and 11. They're the paragraphs. Now we're going to look at number 12, which is the closing phrase. The closing phrase here says, please contact me with any queries. There are a few different ways to write this. You can write, please don't hesitate to contact me, or please contact me with any queries. Either of these ways is fine. 13, sign off. That's where you write yours sincerely, and you should just write yours sincerely with a comma. And then finally, you write your profession, which is number 14, the final one, where you write nurse, doctor, dentist, physiotherapist, or whatever profession you are. So just to recap the proper letter format, it should be like this. Dr. James Marshall, the recipient of the letter. Oncologist, his profession. Parkville Hospital, the name of the place in which he works. 77 Park Street, Parkville, the address of his hospital, not yours. Today's date, the date that you take your exam. Patient's name and the age of the patient. The salutation, dear Dr. Marshall. Then you write your letter. Then you write your closing phrase, please contact me with any queries, or please don't hesitate to contact me. Yours sincerely, nurse. Now, just before I get you to do yours, I want to look at proper letter spacing, because you don't just put it all together like that. Some of it is separated from others, okay? It's pretty straightforward. Let me show you. Right, so that's it, how I was going to do this. I don't know if you can see this, but basically what you do is this. You want to group 1, 2, 3, and 4 together. So the name of the recipient, the profession of the recipient, the name of the hospital, and the address of the hospital are grouped together. Then you want to leave a space, and you write today's date. Then you leave a space, and you write regarding the patient's name and the age of the patient, space, salutation, space, introduction, space, paragraph 1, space, paragraph 2, space, paragraph 3, closing phrase, and then a space, yours sincerely, then a space, your profession. So really, what's happening here is just 1, 2, 3, and 4 are grouped together, and all the other aspects, all the other parts have a space between them, okay? Your turn. Here we go. What I want you to do, yeah. I'm just wondering if this is going to be too easy. Let me ask you, do you want easy or hard? Do you want easy or hard? Type into the chat, easy or hard, because I can make this a little bit easy, a little bit harder for you. Hard, hard. Okay, hard it is. Somebody said moderate. Give me 1 second. I'm going to make this a little bit more difficult for you, a little bit more like you would experience it on test day. And then I'll give you a hint in a second. So let me delete this. Let's see if you can turn the notes and the task into proper letter format. I want all 14. So you've got to number it 1 to 14, and you're going to only use, the only information you need is the writing task, which I will show you, and the first case note, which is the sentence about the patient and his or her age. So I'm going to show you that into the chat below from 1 to 14. I want you to try and remember the different parts of the letter format. See how you go. It'll be a bit of a challenge. I'll give you a couple of minutes. I can see Irene on YouTube Live. You are doing extremely well. You're noting down 1, 2, 3. Just going to have a quick look at the chat to see how you guys are going. Maybe you need help. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, people struggling? Let's I'll give you another minute, see how you go, and then I'll give you a hint. Okay? Let's one more minute. I should just say, you need to be able to do this automatically, because on test day, you don't want to be spending time, wasting time thinking about the format of the letter. The format of the letter, you should just go, all right, bang, address, name of recipient, address, blah, 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 blah. Spend all of your time thinking about the introduction, paragraph 1, 2, and possibly 3. Okay? All else should come to you automatically on test day if you've prepared properly. All right. Let's have a look. Okay, Jenny's Dr. J. Merlo, radiographer, 88 Hillsville Boulevard, Hillsville, 22nd of December. What is the date today? Is it the 22nd or the 21st? I forget. Mr. Virat Kohli, age 32. Dear Dr. Merlo, I'm writing to refer paragraph 2.3. If you have any queries, do not hesitate to contact me. Yours sincerely, Chargeness. Jenny wins the grand prize. Well done, well done, well done. Excellent work. Cool. I'm just going to give you a hint. You can now compare your letter to this here. These are the 14 parts of the properly formatted letter. So please compare your answer to these. Then I will show you the precise answer. Actually, just please put into the chat your score out of 14. Just how many did you get out of 14? I'll be interested. And the full answer is this for your interest. I think that should make a lot of sense to you now. When you look at this now, you should be able to think, okay, I understand why it's structured like this. Most importantly, I understand where that information has come from in order to format my letter like that. And I think that has a good effect on you. I think it will improve your confidence on test day or leading up to this particular section of the test if you know that structure and that format back to front, and if you can do it very quickly. Because then again, the main emphasis goes back to number 8, 9, 10, and 11, the paragraphs. And that's what it's all about, really. You don't want to be distracted by the format of the letter on test day. Cool. We'll go to Q&A in a second. Just before we do, a couple of things. If you need help with your OET, please do check out e2language.com. We've got lots of free, well, not lots of free material. We've got some free material, so you can sign up for free. And if you want, you can upgrade your account in order to take tutorials, one-on-one tutorials with expert OET teachers. We also give feedback on your writing, which will be very helpful on test day. And as I said, we have good quality PPP, premium preparation provider materials that have been screened by the OET. So they're good quality. So do check out that website. The other thing I want to say is if you're enjoying all of this free material, then you can donate to E2 Language by going to this website, paypal.me/E2 Language. And what you can do if you're feeling generous because you want us to continue to create free material, you can contribute a small amount of money, even like $2 if you like. And you can also choose your local currency. So you can choose rupees or pesos or whatever. And you can donate a small amount of money to E2 Language so we continue to create free materials to help people pass their OET or their IELTS test or whatnot. Even if it's a small amount of money, it means a lot to us as educators. It makes us feel good, by the way. So it is Christmas coming up. So if you feel like doing that, it'd be much appreciated. Cool. That's the end of that. Let's go to Q&A. I'm going to answer your questions, especially those in the live class.